Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something that I think a lot of us, especially, once you hit that 30s and 40s range, can really relate to procrastination.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all have those moments, right? Where we know we should be doing something, but
Something's just holding you back. You're staring at that to-do list, or maybe it's a pile of laundry that's been growing for a week and you just can't seem to get started.
exactly. It can feel like you're stuck in this weird loop where you know what you need to do. You might even want to do it,
Yeah.
but the actual doing part just doesn't happen.
Right, and it's almost like there's this invisible force stopping you. Like you have the intention, but then, poof, the motivation vanishes. So, in this deep dive, we're going to try to unpack what's going on there.
We're going to look at what causes this procrastination,
Yeah.
why it feels so hard to break free from it, and most importantly, what practical steps we can take to actually overcome it.
Because, let's face it, procrastination really is a time thief. It steals away our productivity, and it can also lead to a lot of stress and anxiety.
Absolutely. I mean, think about all the things we could achieve if we weren't constantly putting things off.
Exactly. So, to guide us on this journey, we've turned to some of the leading thinkers in the world of productivity.
Right. We'll be diving into the work of David Allen, the author of the groundbreaking book, Getting Things Done.
And we'll also be exploring the insights of Tim Urban, the creator of the wildly popular TED Talk, Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator.
Yeah, Tim Urban has this amazing ability to explain these complex psychological concepts in a way that's both hilarious and insightful.
Totally. I mean, who can forget his idea of the instant gratification monkey? It's this cartoon representation of that part of our brain that just wants to have fun and avoid anything remotely difficult.
Right. And he uses it to explain why we often choose to do things that feel good in the moment, even if we know they're not the best choices in the long run.
Exactly. So we'll be using those ideas and many others to help us break free from the clutches of procrastination. But before we get into the practical strategies, I think it's important to acknowledge that procrastination isn't just a modern problem.
Oh, absolutely. People have been struggling with this for centuries.
Right.
I mean, you know the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Well, apparently neither was the Mona Lisa. Did you know that Leonardo da Vinci actually took 16 years to finish that painting?
16 years. Wow. That's commitment to procrastination.
It's kind of reassuring, though, right? Even the great Leonardo da Vinci struggled with this. It makes me feel a little less alone in my own procrastination battles.
It definitely shows that it's a human thing, not a personal failing.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of what actually causes us to procrastinate.
Well, our sources point to a few key culprits. One of the biggest is fear.
Fear. Like, what are we afraid of? Failing.
Yeah, fear of failure is a big one. We might be afraid of not living up to our own expectations or the expectations of others.
That makes sense. And I guess it's easier to just not try at all than to risk falling short, right?
Exactly. But there's also another type of fear that can drive procrastination.
What's that?
Fear of success. It might sound strange, but sometimes we're afraid of what might happen if we actually achieve our goals.
I've never thought about it that way. Like maybe we're afraid of the changes that success might bring.
Exactly. It could be fear of more responsibility, fear of the unknown, or even fear of not knowing what to do next once we've reached that goal.
Okay, so fear is one big driver. What else is there?
Another major culprit is perfectionism.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one for me. I always want everything to be just right before I even start.
I know the feeling. But the problem with perfectionism is that it often leads to paralysis. We set these impossibly high standards, and then we're so afraid of not meeting them that we just avoid starting altogether.
Right. And the irony is, by waiting for the perfect moment, we often end up doing nothing at all.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's plain old lack of motivation.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything, no matter how important it is.
And that's perfectly normal. We all have days where our energy levels are low, or we're just not feeling inspired. But the key is to not let those days turn into weeks or months of procrastination.
Right. So now that we have a better understanding of what causes procrastination, let's dive into some practical strategies for overcoming it.
Okay, the first tip is deceptively simple, but it's incredibly effective. Break it down.
Break it down.
Yeah, instead of looking at a huge, daunting task, try breaking it down into smaller, more manageable chunks.
So like instead of saying, I need to write a 20-page report, you'd say, I need to write the introduction, or even, I just need to write the first paragraph.
Exactly. By breaking it down, you're essentially tricking your brain into thinking that the task is less overwhelming.
Yeah.
And as you complete those smaller steps, You build momentum and motivation to keep going.
That makes sense. So instead of focusing on the whole mountain, you're just focusing on taking that first step.
Precisely. And then once you've taken that first step, you take another, and before you know it, you're halfway up the mountain.
Okay, so breaking it down is a great starting point. What's the next tip?
Set deadlines.
Deadlines. But what if there isn't an external deadline? Like if it's just a personal project or something I need to do around the house?
That's where self-imposed deadlines come in. Even if no one else is holding you accountable, giving yourself a deadline creates a sense of urgency and helps you prioritize the task.
I can see how that would work. Like if I tell myself I need to clean out the garage by the end of the month, it's more likely to actually happen than if I just leave it as a vague someday task.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be a hard and fast deadline. You can always adjust it if needed. But the key is to have some sort of time frame in mind.
Okay, so break it down, set deadlines. What else can we do?
Prioritize.
Prioritize. I mean, everything on my to-do list feels important. How do I know what to tackle first?
That's where a tool like the Eisenhower box can be really helpful.
The Eisenhower box.
Yeah, it's this simple matrix that helps you categorize tasks based on their urgency and importance. So you've got tasks that are both urgent and important. Those are your top priorities. Then you have tasks that are important but not urgent. Those need to be scheduled. Then there are tasks that are urgent but not important. Those can often be delegated. And finally, there are tasks that are neither urgent nor important. Those can probably be eliminated altogether.
So it's all about figuring out what really needs your attention and what can be put on the back burner or even tossed out completely.
Exactly. And the Eisenhower box gives you a visual way to do that. It can really help you cut through the clutter and focus on what matters most.
Okay, so we've got breaking it down, setting deadlines, prioritizing. What's next?
Time blocking.
Time blocking. So like putting things on my calendar.
It's more than just scheduling. Time blocking is about dedicating specific blocks of time to focused work on a particular task.
Yeah.
It's about creating these intentional containers for your work.
And I guess the key is to actually stick to those blocks, right? Like no checking email or social media during your writing time block.
Exactly. And one popular method for time blocking is the Pomodoro Technique.
The Pomodoro Technique. Tell me more about that.
It's pretty simple, actually. You set a timer for 25 minutes and work on a single task without distractions. Then you take a 5-minute break, and you repeat that cycle 4 times. Then you take a longer break.
So it's like these little bursts of focused work followed by short breaks to recharge.
Right. And the idea is that these regular breaks help you maintain focus and prevent burnout.
I like that. It seems more sustainable than trying to force yourself to focus for hours on end.
Absolutely. And it's a great way to build in those little rewards throughout the day.
Speaking of rewards, that's actually our next tip, right?
Mm.
Reward yourself.
Yes. It's so important to celebrate your wins, no matter how small. When you complete a task, especially one you've been putting off, take a moment to acknowledge that accomplishment.
I guess it's like training your brain to associate completing tasks with positive feelings.
Exactly. And the reward doesn't have to be anything big. It can be as simple as taking a walk, listening to your favorite song, or just giving yourself a few minutes to relax and do nothing.
That's great advice. And it seems like all these tips are really interconnected, right? Like break down a big task, set deadlines, prioritize it, time block it, and then reward yourself when you complete it.
Absolutely. It's all about creating a system that works for you. And the good news is that there are tons of different strategies and techniques out there. So if something isn't working for you, try something else. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to productivity.
Okay, so those are some really solid practical tips. But what about for those of us who need a little more creative motivation?
Ah, yes. For those who are looking for some more unconventional approaches, we've got a few of those too.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
One interesting strategy is to gamify your tasks.
Gamify. Like
Yeah.
turning my to-do list into a video game.
Not quite, but kind of. The idea is to find ways to make your tasks more fun and engaging by adding game-like elements.
So like giving myself points for completing tasks.
Exactly. You could create a point system, set challenges for yourself, even create a leaderboard if you're competitive. The key is to find ways to tap into that natural human desire for play and competition.
I love that. It's like tricking yourself into being productive.
In a way, yes. But it's also about finding ways to make the process more enjoyable. And if that helps you get things done, then why not?
Okay, gamification. What's another unconventional approach?
The 2-minute rule.
2-minute rule. Tell me more.
It's incredibly simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. Don't put it off. Don't add it to your to-do list. Just get it done.
Oh, I like that. So, like, if I need to send a quick email or pay a bill online, I just do it right then and there.
Exactly. These small tasks can really accumulate and create a lot of mental clutter. By tackling them immediately, you prevent that buildup and free up your mental bandwidth for more important things.
I'm definitely going to start implementing that one. So, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the causes of procrastination, the different types of fear that can hold us back, and a whole bunch of strategies for overcoming it, from the classic to the unconventional.
And we've seen that procrastination isn't this insurmountable obstacle. It's something we can all learn to manage with the right tools and techniques.
Right. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing that I found really fascinating. It's about the role of fear of failure in procrastination.
Yes, this is a really important point. The fear of not succeeding can be a huge driver of procrastination.
And there's even a term for it, right? Aticophobia.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that we often don't even realize that this fear is at play. We might just think we're lazy or unmotivated, but underneath it all, there might be this deep-seated fear of not measuring up.
So, what can we do about it?
Well, the first step is to simply acknowledge that this fear might be present. Once we're aware of it, we can start to challenge those negative thoughts and reframe how we view failure.
So, instead of seeing failure as a personal defeat, we can see it as a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And we can also remind ourselves that everyone fails sometimes. It's part of the process. And it's often through our failures that we learn and grow the most.
That's such a powerful message. So, to sum it all up, it sounds like the key to overcoming procrastination is to understand our own personal triggers, to find the strategies that work best for us, and to be kind to ourselves along the way.
Absolutely. And by doing those things, we can unlock our full potential and achieve amazing things.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought. Take some time to reflect on your own procrastination patterns. What are your triggers? What strategies have you tried in the past? What might you try differently in the future? By really understanding your own relationship with procrastination, you can start to build a more productive and fulfilling life.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be days when you procrastinate, and that's okay. The key is to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep moving forward.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of procrastination. We hope you found some valuable insights and practical tools to help you break free from the procrastination trap and achieve your goals.
Until next time, happy producing.